Who are you? I don't know, but I'm writing to you anyway. Where are you? How far in the future? Where'd you find my journal? I may never know, but you can know me from what I put down on these pages. I come from a little village in the mountains. No one has left here since before I was born. But our lives changed overnight, just a few days ago when my best friend had a prophetic dream. A vision that the elder said means this season is going to end soon. The world is about to enter a new era. A great change is coming. Everyone was afraid. I was surrounded by questions and I began to feel how little I know. What is this season that is about to end, and why is it ending? What exactly is out there that could turn the world inside out? If there are still voices singing and laughing in the wilderness, I could record them before they're gone. I also thought of my dad, who always wanted to see the outside world but never did. So, I asked if I could leave. The elder had one condition for letting me go: that I take what I collect to the museum vault, a palace of art and memory at the edge of the earth. She says it's the only place safe from the turmoil of a changing season. I hope that's where you're reading this now. I can't stop the change that is coming, but this time on Earth could live on in these pages. What it looks like, sounds like, how it feels to be alive right now. I'm writing to you at the crack of dawn on the morning I leave home. I can smell breakfast cooking in the other room, and I can hear my mom's voice.
Three, two, one. Hooray! Mr. Lotto's here. I'm tired. Three, two, one. Hooray! Mr. Lotto's here. I'm tired.
last moment in this little house. There used to be 3 of us here. My mom and dad and me. Soon it will be just her. Her and all these memories. But in this moment, everything is the same as ever. Until I shift my weight. The floorboards creak. Mom hears it and turns to me.
You're up. What are you doing standing there? Time to get going. It's gonna be a beautiful morning. I'm making progress. I found the burner, camera, recorder, travel bag. Breakfast is in progress. Still gotta make a pendant. We haven't used this in so long. Good thing I saved the instructions. Just as you would use a shield to protect your body, an identity pendant protects your mind. Your thoughts, memories, everything that makes you don't wear them here in the village anymore. But if you're going into the outside world, I'll feel better when you've got a pendant shielding you. Diseases of the mind, like the dream sickness. We don't know what caused it. We heard people suddenly fell into an eternal sleep. These were years of wild rumors, and half of them turned out to be true. In times of war, a pendant can be used to identify a body. Let's skip that part. Objects have 2 layers, the physical and the mental. The pendant needs to absorb both. 1. Collect a sentimental object for each sense: sound, smell, feel, sight, taste. 2. Feel the sense and speak aloud a memory of the object. 3. Feed the object into the burner. The memory will leave the speaker as it is transferred to the pendant. That means I'll forget the memory after I say it. It's supposed to be painless. At least. No, you must remember everything. That's your role. The pendant needs this little sacrifice. I want to be sure it works. Don't be afraid. A few memories is a small price to pay for knowing you'll be safe. Okay, so this old tape should work for our sense of sound. I remember. You and I fell asleep listening to this tape. Your dad came home. We all rested together until it got dark. What an odd feeling. Like an absence, disappearing. The empty space fills itself back in until I forget that I forgot anything at all. I'm glad I'm only losing a few memories. If I lost too many, I wouldn't even know who you are. You should pick the rest of the objects. I'll lose the memories, but you'll have them in the pendant forever. So they should be important to you. They should be parts of your identity you want to be sure to protect. So think about what these items and what the memories would preserve about you. Let's do smell next. Find an object with a strong odor and that holds a piece of you.
Nothing. I was born in the glow of my parents' love.
What did you choose for smell? I think you can find something with a stronger smell than that. Are you sure you want to use it? Follow your nose.
I remember who my dad was. Nothing. I collect stories. Faint, damp canyon. A friend gave me this a long time ago. Nothing. I take care of fragile things. My bag and Dad's camera, ready for the great departure. Tangled nest, sour play. This speaks to how my dad loved me. Sweet wax honey. How I've tried to save things. Ancient perfume, sweet. Nothing is ever lost. Nothing. I used to see souls everywhere. Childhood. Too sweet, too old. I always wanted to experience new things. Granite, seaside, darkness. This speaks to how my mom loves me. Honey, wax, baby, waves. I was loved by people I have no memory of.
What did you choose for smell? Let's breathe in deep. I remember. You used to take him everywhere with you. One night, you forgot him in the plaza. It was cold and rainy that night, but your dad leaped into action, as if the doll was a real member of the family. I have this image of his face as he ran out into the storm, completely serious, no hesitation. And when your dad returned with the doll, I forgot for a moment that he's just fabric, stitched into the form of an animal. It felt as if he had a soul, because you'd projected one into him. What was dear to you was dear to us. That was... we were whole. For a little while. Now touch. Pick something with a texture you like.
My hand in my own hand. This speaks to how my mom loves me.
So what did you end up choosing? Okay, put your hand in the hand. Oh, I remember it so well. It's not as bad now, but in the old days, not many children lived long enough to grow up. We believed if a child could make it to the age of 9, they'd be all right. This print was made of your hand when you turned 9. Your father and I couldn't believe we really had a healthy girl. An old deep fear inside of me finally went away, and we saw you would just keep growing and growing, that everything was going to be okay. I'm fine. Let's do sight next. Pick something that looks nice.
Dad by my hand. I remember who my dad was.
So, what did you end up choosing? I remember your dad sitting a long time while you did this portrait of him, but you spent most of the time erasing, getting it down to fewer and fewer details. He's been gone for years now. And yet, when I look at these lines, I remember what he was like around the house, the way he moved, danced, and laughed. You really captured him, his way of being, his soul. What is a force in the world that makes everything go away? How could a few lines on a scrap of paper resist it? For how long? You were so young when you learned that the love in our lives is not constant. People are never replaced. They just go. We see them in these lines until the lines go too. For taste, we can eat breakfast and feed some to the burner. The memory I'll lose is the one we're forming right now. I want you to have it forever. Standing here, you're having a last taste of home. Now you're protected by lost memories. A gem of home around your neck. This is my only condition for letting you go. You must promise me never to take the pendant off. And never tamper with it. Okay? Then I'm okay with you leaving. I think your camera and bag are still in your room. It's time to gather them up. I've lost so much. How could the world ask me to lose you too? Look at us. There we are. There we were. We'll always be right here on this beautiful morning.
I just performed a ritual with my mom. The moment has passed, but I'll record it in these pages for you, for the future. I never knew when my mom would share a memory of Dad while cooking, on a walk, with no warning. It knocked the wind out of me. Rituals take this grief and give it a shape and a story. Filling in this journal is a ritual too, but for a loss that hasn't hit us yet. I've brought tools to record the sights and sounds of this season. I'll start by recording the only place I've ever known. Public sleep music is a tradition of ours here. When the music ends, the village will begin to wake up. you have plenty of fresh water here. I wonder if it's more scarce in the outside world. Last night there was a goodbye party here in the plaza. Everyone was so afraid for me. To understand that fear, to understand where I grew up, you have to know the man standing watch over the plaza, Dr. Fumio. This is Dr. Fumio and his son. The statue isn't as old as it looks. The artist wore it down to give it a feeling of ancientness and the authority that comes with it. Dr. Fumio and his son founded Cairo back in 776. They live on through our traditions. There are 3 murals celebrating Dr. Fumio's work. Remembering everything must be painful. Dr. Fumio brought peace to so many people here. The elder sought out Dr. Fumio to cure her mother, who was suffering from time misperception. The ruins in the distance were used to make us afraid of the outside world. Dangerous and impossible to reach, they said. is a healing instrument created by Dr. Fumio. It draws on the pure mountain air. These birds migrate, but we don't know where they come from or where they're going. I had to drink this gross potion last night. Like my pendant, it's supposed to protect my brain. Smells like an old man's toes dipped in cinnamon. A wish fell off the tree. I'm not supposed to read them, but it might be good for you to have an example of one. I can go against tradition a little for posterity. This is the cafe where my dad used to read his poems. He wrote one for me. Maybe he wrote it for you too. Dr. Fumio said the dream sickness was caused by something very powerful. He wasn't able to cure it. Caro Village is nice if you're a child or an old person. But for those of us in between, I need to leave. Pate's little daydream of leaving this place, of seeing something weird. Dr. Fumio was an important person, but we also just have a need to put a human face on events that are beyond our control. He may have felt just as scared and helpless as everyone else. A village that was created as a place to heal. Is that where my instinct to try to help comes from? It's so strange to imagine I'll be shaped by places and people I haven't met yet. So strange to imagine that I might feel at home somewhere else. I remember soaking my feet in here on hot days. Pate loves fish, even though nobody here has ever seen one. I go fishing here with my best friend Pate, even though there's nothing to catch. We both appreciate the silence. Kero Village was founded during the modernity. Much later, Dr. Fumio arrived and remade it in his image. This flower means the morning after the search was called off for Dad, our doorstep was covered in them. A drip, just as slow, reliable, and oddly satisfying as life itself in this little village.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Okay. How to leave home for my daughter. Find a sacred square of earth. Lay down so you have the dirt at your back. close your eyes. Close everything. Do you see for yourself? You see for the dead, for the unborn. Do you listen for yourself? You listen for the dead, for the unborn. Your ancestors are in that dirt. All the living and all the dead are holding you up. Now, stand. They're still there, aren't they? It's time to move, to entangle yourself everywhere with everyone. So the next time you lay down in the dirt, you will have so much more to tell them.
I've always wondered what's on the other side of this gate. Today, I'll find out. These bikes were used by messengers a long, long time ago. Pate fixed up 3 bikes instead of 1. can see in these letters that the outside world has extremes, of beauty and tragedy beyond anything I've known. They were right. The letter never made it. The season before this one, the war, seems so horrible. I wish humans had evolved to sing instead of talk. In the village, these cranes look like little creatures, grazing. I had no idea how huge they are. I feel nourished in these sights by the unfamiliarity of it all. These means of connection, long in disuse, are certainly telling me something about the world. Will they be used again in the next season? Traders used to come to the outskirts of the village. the war put an end to this. I heard at some point the tides got less predictable. Places flooded that never had before. I forgot what I was going to say. We learned about old technology in school, but not much about animals. What are these strange goat-like creatures? Are they simply goats? I cycled through landscapes, seeing them for the first and last time. I had no idea when I left my home how the season would end, or more importantly, how soon. On a cold, damp day, I feel true loneliness for the first time. Nobody could have described with words how big this world is, how it goes and goes. I passed through it, where others passed before me. This person wanted the season to change. Why? Time seems to pass differently around here. I feel so heavy and so light at the same time. I'm not really alone. I'm with myself. I'm with the earth. wanted the season to change because they were so alone. One melody is like me out here alone. I can't really live like this. They kept themselves company with music. Two voices is like me and my mom. I have a feeling they use these music boxes to fall asleep. Three voices as complex as life is supposed to be. I could listen forever. They used the walls like I use my journal. like they made it out of here. But what is this group? In the empty places, I found companionship in the tapes I recorded before leaving home. The elder told me the story of her life. I listened back to it, ready to note down anything that seemed important.
Let's set the scene for the listener. Whoever that might be. This is the elder speaking. We're sitting in the plaza, saying goodbye to a dear soul. We're here to see if there's anything useful in my mind that could help you on your trip. A century's worth of memories, dreams, fantasies, visions. Like a big, old, haunted library. When I die, this library will burn down. But which book should we check out first? I don't have all the answers, but I do feel the story of my life could help you understand what kind of world is out there. It's okay not to understand everything right away. The moment may pass before you've gotten a firm hold on it, but as long as you're there to witness it, to take it down in your journal, you, and others to come, will someday take the time to make sense of it all. I heard, somebody told me, you want to capture what it's like to be alive during this season, for the future? And you want to understand why and how the season is going to end. The season of my youth is long gone, but I can tell you what that season was like and what I know about how it ended. Francis Cale, if you must know, you can call me Frank. Or Elder. Or the Elder, or Elder Frank. You know, whatever. I don't care. I was born on the ocean. My mother and father worked on a cruise ship, the short-lived but glorious watery republics, floating cities. Most won their independence by the time I was born. How can I describe them? They were a jewel of the golden season, pleasure boats with a radical political program. How nice. The golden age was a time of flags, logos, mottos, mastheads. My mom taught me to read them. She was the ship's philosopher. My dad was a recycling engineer. Recycling on the ship was a matter of life and death. We had to get the most out of every object and watt of energy. My grandparents played with the past. They changed it like we change our wardrobe. So it was a different answer every time, but they often said we were exiles of some kind, exiled royalty from a secret lineage, blood that glows in the dark, or we're exiled from the mouth of some great leviathan. When they were older, they just said, we're from here, we're from right now. I loved the way the ship would tilt and roll with the waves, especially as I fell asleep. It was so comforting. Picture me as a kid in bed, feeling the swaying of the ship. It was like being rocked to sleep as a baby. I loved exploring the ship too, wandering through the suites, the swimming pool, the game rooms, and oh, there were 2 dance halls, a large, elegant one and another one in the basement. A lot of my firsts were down there, my first dance, my first kiss, and so forth. Our ship was taken over in the early days of the war. That was the end of the watery republics. I heard the dance hall in the basement became a weapons cache. It took me half my life to say goodbye to the world I knew in my youth. Imagine me and my parents and everyone I knew being escorted off the ship by a company of soldiers. And I'm thinking, I hope they don't make a mess of my room. I was embarrassed by the younger kids who were crying their eyes out, but they knew, I guess. Even as things got bad, I couldn't imagine the changes were permanent. It's easy now to look back and say, the internationalism of the golden season was violently breaking down. You can be naive about all kinds of things, but most of my life has been spent in isolated communities, and the one moment I was in the wild world, you couldn't pick a more chaotic time. And we had been warned the season was going to end. Oh, but we didn't understand the warning. You see, one night, along a coastline, we saw beautiful lights shimmering above the water. Later, we found out this was an ancient warning system. It hadn't been used in so long. We didn't know what it meant. We just thought, well, ain't that pretty? We tried to stick together and camped out on the coast of the prismatic grounds. I thought it was all temporary. I couldn't see how things would return to normal, but I was sure they would. Aside from that delusion, I was okay. Are you sure you want me to keep going? The story gets darker from here on. Okay, so conditions in the camp were getting worse. My mom got lost in thought for long periods of time. She'd be completely still for hours. We realized she caught, well, now we call it time misperception disorder. It's when you lose your ability to tell how much time is passing. A minute can feel like an hour. A day can pass in 10 seconds. We don't know exactly. Our consciousness is delicate. There are minerals and sounds that can adjust it. Dr. Fumio's greatest fear was that someone would use this as a weapon. We heard about a traveling doctor who could cure these kinds of diseases. I decided to go find him. I found out his name was Dr. Fumio, and he traveled with his son Lucio. People talked about him like he was a god. I described my mom's condition to Dr. Fumio. He said there was no cure yet, but there was a village high in the mountains. He thought it was high enough he'd have a better chance at treatment. Lower places are more dangerous. Valleys are the worst. He invited me to join them in going to the village, but I wanted to go back and get my parents and bring them with me. I packed my things and got ready to leave the next morning. That night, my mom came to me in a dream. She was standing in a field of flowers. I'd grown since I last saw her. We were the same height. She pressed a finger hard into my palm. She taught me well. I knew the meaning of the gesture. I knew no matter what I did, I'd never see my parents again. In the morning, I told Dr. Fumio I would follow him to Karo village. The next few weeks were very physically tiring, hiking, climbing. And when we found the village, building, planting, cleaning, Fumio brought sick people from all over the world. And they got better. The treatments worked. Everyone was healing. So why couldn't I? One day, we got word the war was over. We never found out how it ended. It was like peace just swept over the earth in a split second. There was a party in the plaza to celebrate the end of the war, but I couldn't bring myself to go. Yes, it was over. But it had taken my... That night, as I was falling asleep, I felt the bed tilt and sway gently, as if it was being tossed on the waves of the ocean, as if I was back in my bedroom on the ship, as if I was back in my mother's arms, being rocked gently to sleep. I knew I was finally home, and nothing could hurt me.
I imagined coming upon a place as hidden and singular as my own village. Eventually, I found myself circling a valley, looking for a way in. never used this kind of technology in my village. Nobody trusted it.
Oh, the valley. One second.
I've heard sounds that can heal the mind. It feels like this noise would do the opposite.
Is that a strotofop? Yeah, what are they called? What is it? I love old gear like that. It's getting more and more rare. I had a camera, but it broke. Not that interesting of a story, I guess. What are you doing here? The whole thing, huh? You're young. You got time. What kind of stuff are you recording? That's the way to do it, if you ask me. If anyone asks me, I mean. The valley would be a good place to use those tools. Too bad it's closed down. Let me finish up here, huh?
The Elder didn't think I'd see any flags. This could be a sign that the season is changing.
Hey. This was like a second home for a while. That was fun earlier when you showed up. And I was carrying the cardboard man. You were like, who are these guys? I've been pretty bored here. You know, the valley's going to be flooded soon. That's why nobody can go in there. The dam is falling apart. It's too old. There's nobody left who knows how to repair it. We're taking it down so we'll know when it'll collapse. It gives us time to evacuate everyone. Greyhounds. We're a community organization. We do all kinds of fun stuff. Health clinics, mine sweeping, daycare, evacuations, weddings. We're new. It was supposed to be because we're helpful yet neutral. We took a vote and decided to change the name, though. We want something more friendly sounding. I'm excited to find out what it would be. We're trying to get new things going, but it's hard. The past really has a tight grip on people. Doesn't feel like a fair fight. So we're trying to, well, anyway. It's funny. I stood guard here for a week, and I've only seen greyhounds like myself, and valley people on their way out. But now I see you, and you're like a new element or something. I've never met anyone doing what you're doing. And we greyhounds gotta support new things. So, I'm not supposed to let anyone in. How can I? Jeez. I think you should go down into the valley and take a look. Gotta try something here. Dang it. I was trying to wink. Well, you get the idea. Go on and put that old gear to use. You can take my map of the valley, too. I don't need it anymore. I'll be down to pick everyone up around midnight. See you then.
I met a Greyhand. He let me into the valley. I think he wanted me to record what the Greyhands were up to, and he gave me a map. The assembly point seemed like a good place to start. I wonder what he expects me to discover in the valley. I'm not the first to do this, just the first in a long time. I'll think about what kind of visitor I want to be. It seems like I'll have to wait for night to enter the shrine.